तो इन्वेस्टिंग फॉर अ न्यू एरा कार्यक्रम जो है वो आपको लाइव हम दिखाते हैं, जहां जियो ब्लैक रॉक का कार्यक्रम चल रहा है। कार्यक्रम में RIL चेयरमैन मुकेश अंबानी शामिल हैं। ब्लैक रॉक के चेयरमैन लैरी फिंक भी इसमें शामिल हैं।
Over the next 20-25 years. But if you use that as a foundational paradigm that we all want to think about, the era of India, forget about the era of investing for a second, but the era of India, the key for us, the key for JioBlackRock is to compel more people to understand what does that mean, the era of India, and how do you participate in it? What we've learned in the United States, for that segment of the population that had invested with the growth of America, they're far better off than those who just kept all their money in a bank account. Mm-hmm. And so the key is, if you believe in the era of India, forget about the era of India, investment, the era of India, which I believe in, we need to get more people investing alongside the growth of the country. And that's the role of the capital markets, that's the role of what we can be doing together. And to me, whether it's, you want to focus on AI, you want to focus on how we live, how we grow, how we educate ourselves, to me those are subsets of the era of India and the opportunity to be an investor alongside the growth of India. And to me that's a compelling story. It's not about, about tariffs or President Trump or anything else that's top of mind. We need to be compelling people to think about the horizon of investing over a long period of time, to grow with the great companies of India, to be a part of that and to participate in that. And I'm absolutely convinced, if you believe in that, in the era of India, we need to compel hundreds of millions of Indians to invest alongside the growth of India. And that will actually transform India in so many ways, because as more and more families invest alongside the growth of India, India has less needs for the importation of capital. And I do believe the combination of importation of capital from foreign investors who believe in the era of India, but the fundamental foundation of any country is having the domestic economy being built on the back of retirement savings, on the back of excess savings, to invest alongside of that.
Well, thank you very much for those opening remarks. And, the era of India, says Larry Fink, that is certainly going to be one of the headlines that goes out this evening. But if I could ask you to explain to us what excites you the most about India. You referenced the tariffs and, we've had a deal with the US overnight. President Trump and Prime Minister Modi have signed off on that reciprocal tariff agreement. So the overhang has lifted at least on one aspect of that relationship. How crucial a development is that, and what excites you the most about India today?
Well, let's be clear, over 20 years it had no bearing. Maybe over the next 6 months or a year it had some significant bearing, but over time the foundational issues of India, how it's able to leapfrog. I mean, you watch what has, over the last, I would say, since the era of the smartphone.
से आपको लिए चलते हैं जियो ब्लैक रॉक कार्यक्रम में, जहां पर मुकेश अंबानी कुछ कह रहे हैं.
We had 2 successive periods. We had 10 years of Manmohan Singh, where we focused on growth. And then we were very lucky to have now consistently 15 years of very stable leadership. So stable economic leadership defines a country. And I think that we have to be thankful to Prime Minister Modi for giving us this stability now for going in, by 2029 it will be 15 years. Yeah. I also think that we've got what is different about this is we've got a very clear goal. A goal in terms of saying we have to be developed, Viksit Bharat by 2047, which every Indian aspires to and has started believing in. Second, we've executed at scale, right? While as Indians we like to criticize ourselves, and we are not, and it's a good thing in a democratic mindset, but if you see, we've built more roads in the last 15 years than any other, multiple times than any other country, including the United States as its peak. We've built power capacities. We are now the leading renewable power producer in the world. We've built in our own industry digital capacities, 5G, that is better than most people in the world and cheaper than most people in the world in terms of what. And now every Indian village has got 5G. So, and I can go on, like we've built the same thing in terms of infrastructure, the roads that you see in Mumbai. For a long time we said that we will connect Mumbai to the mainland, and we now have the bridge that is running. So we've executed. We've also had policy which is sustainable. So even when you see between governments, right, we all thought that Aadhaar was the earlier government's piece. I think this government was wise enough to saying we've had continuity in policy at all times. In terms of that, we've had stability, we've had predictability. We've also been conservative. So as Indian successive finance ministers, we've always maintained our debt in order. Relative to global debt, we are still 50% of GDP as debt. So we are not, like the world norm is now 100%. So we've had, and I think that we've also in the private sector, and what excites me the most is the startup industry. When I interact with startups and we see young 28, 30-year-olds starting up companies, and I can clearly see, right, 100 new Reliances in terms of where, and the aspiration, the confidence that they have. And finally, it is the confidence that you see. Fortunately, we now operate across the length and breadth of India. So it's not only the confidence in forums like this, but when you see the confidence in young people going to school and colleges, wanting, and in parents today believing that their tomorrow is better than today, right? And that is a big, big change in India, that all of us, this is our baby boomer generation. This is the Indian generation that believes that they'll make a better tomorrow than today. And that's the confidence that we see as a result of all of this. And I don't want to rule out, like when everybody, we've also had, right, at least I think a sustained 15, 20 years of great law and order, right? And that is a prerequisite to continuous economic growth, social harmony. All of these things matter in terms of that. And hopefully, like we are now setting the foundation for many, many decades. The world sees that. And that is why, you know, even like after the budget, we had the European Treaty, we had, fortunately, the US. So the world is looking at us. We have, like, and we at Reliance get at least every month 3 or 4 global majors. We cannot say yes to everybody for partnerships in terms of saying we want to come to India and can we work together. So the world is taking notice of India. It's a tree laden with abundant fruit. And you know, I have always believed that for profit and for prosperity, nobody needs an invitation. And that is why